Welcome in, welcome in, welcome back to the Crypto Bully Bear channel where there's only fun decoding and no financial advice. And if you've been following me, you know that I've been talking about a company called metallicus. Okay? They are a tech firm. They are looking to create, not looking, they have, I should say, created their own ecosystem. Looks beautiful to me. So I just want to talk a little bit about this company, metallicus, and the CEO, Marshall Hayner. And I just want to let you know why I fell in love with this project and this company. So I did a little research on my CEO. It would be good, right, to do some research on the CEO that you're investing in. So just a little bit about Marshall, if you didn't know, and I'm not even sure if Marshall knows himself, but if you know him, send this video out to him. I think he might like it, or maybe not. Anyway, so Mr. CEO of Metallicus is Marshall Donnie Hayner. I started looking into his name. Do you know that his parents, shout out to Marshall's parents, mom and dad, because they're the ones that gave him his name and named him Marshall. They must have knew that this particular person was the person that was the right person to be for this name. All right. So I don't know his parents' name, but respect to his parents. You don't even know the role that you played in this whole scenario, but naming him Marshall was a perfect name for this particular person. Now, as you know, Mr. Marshall has a company called Metallicus. Okay, there's certain coins in there. There's a Proton coin, a metal blockchain coin, a Proton loan, a metal DAO, and a stable coin. And if you've been watching my videos, I've been talking about Mr. Marshall and this Proton. And I said Proton is basically the new data, right? The data is the new oil, basically. And I said that, I don't know if anybody else made the connection, but for myself, why I made this connection with Marshall and horses, or Proton and horses, is because of Proton's oil. It's a high performance racing oil, which deals with high horse-powered cars, race cars, Formula One cars. Now let's get back into Marshall. Well, I'm just letting you know how I related horses and stuff like that to Marshall, because Marshall is the CEO of Metallicus. He has Proton, and Proton is an oil for racing cars. Now, here we go. The meaning of Marshall. What is the meaning of the name Marshall? Just so you don't think I'm lying, look at the purple there. You see the purple? The meaning of Marshall is a caretaker of horses. Okay, that's why I say shout out to his parents, because they didn't even know that Marshall would have been the CEO of this company. But they named him Marshall, and this is why I find these things very, very interesting, and these are the things I look for and I get into. So his name is basically caretaker of horses. Marshall is a boy's name of the French origin. It is an occupational surname that translates to caretaker of horses, and it originates from the Norman French. Okay? That's blew my mind. All right? Then we have the word here. Oops. We have the word Marshal, as you can see. Now, Marshal can mean an officer of the highest rank in the armed forces of some countries, a federal or municipal law enforcement officer. So basically on the top, one of the highest ranks in the armed forces. Another reason why I like the name Marshall. Another reason why I like to invest into somebody whose name is Marshall that runs a company. Marshal is a term used in several official titles in various branches of society, as marshals become trusted members of the courts of the medieval Europe. Now, why did I say that? Is because look at all the riddles. You got castles, you got guards, right? Everybody thinks that Brett Garlinghart is the knight. Okay, we have castles in there. Medieval Europe, and the title grew in reputation. What else? What does martial translate to in English? The meaning of martial in English: to bring together or organize people or things in order to achieve a particular aim. Now, if you've been watching Marshall's interviews, listening to him talk, he's been talking about communities all the time. It's all about communities. He has said that before. It's all about communities. Now, let me repeat this. The meaning of martial in English: to bring together or organize people. Bring together is a community. If you listen to the guy and then you start looking at his name, then you start understanding what he's all about. If you don't believe me, there it is there too. You can pause and play. What is martial in Italian? It says the Italian military rank, highest rank of non-commissioned officers in the Italian army forces. I know you're sitting there thinking about what the hell does this have to do with crypto? Again, you need a third eye to understand my channel. If not, it's going to be very hard for you to understand. So, that is one more other thing. Now, it also says, is Marshall a good name? Marshall is a name that's strong, steady, and stylish, with roots in England. And I'm going to show you, it's highlighted that Marshall is a great choice on the bottom. If you can see it right there. It says, Marshall is a great choice. That's what they're saying. That's what I'm going for. What else can I say? What else can I say about this? Oh, how old is the name Marshall? The name has been established in Ireland since the 13th century. I found that pretty interesting as well, because if you went to Taylor Swift, she's got 13 tattooed on the arm. 13 is, a number of higher people. 33, 13. So I found that very interesting also, that's how old his name is. What does marshal mean in the Bible? Marshal was meant to help the general to maintain discipline. Who's in compliance? Who's doing everything by the book? Maintain discipline. Help the general. Who's bringing people that's unbanked onto the scene with a super sweet wallet that's super easy to use with @names. What does martial facts mean? The arrange in proper order, set out in an orderly manner, arrange clearly, which if you've been listening to him, that's all he wants to do. He wants to make sure everything is clear, everything is right, everything is 10 times better, 10 times faster, and 10 times ahead of everyone else. This one really got me. The personality of a name for a name Marshall. And they call it a smug. Marshall is a villager that falls under the smug personality. He will not find it hard to converse with other villagers, which he loves to talk, as he's very polite and lively. He also may be seen flirting with players, regardless of the gender. He may sometimes appear conceited when talking to himself. And again, if you listen to his interviews and him talking, he basically says, I don't want to sound conceited, or I don't want to sound like, I know the best, or I have the best, and he breaks it down. Again, shout out to Marshall's parents for naming him that, because they didn't even know what their son was going to do, what their son is about to take over, and that's about it. So that's the CEO for Metallicus, Marshall Donnie Hayner, and that is why I got my money on this guy. Just fits the picture so well. Anyway, thank you for liking, watching, subscribing, and I'm out of here.